Good evening, Garden City. I'd like to call to order a regular city council meeting for Monday, September 9th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Our first order of business is our opening ceremony, which consists of the national anthem, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for those service members who have given their lives for our country. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, if you'd take roll call, please.
Mayor Jacobs.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dold.
Present.
Councilmember Karafotis.
Here.
Councilmember Squires.
Here.
Councilmember Earl.
Here.
Councilmember Witt. Here. Councilmember Lynch.
Here.
You have a quorum of 7.
Thank you. Next is item 4, approval of the agenda.
Mayor,
Councilmember Witt.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Monday, September 9th council meeting agenda as presented.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Lynch. Discussion from table. From the public. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. We have no recognitions. We do have State Representative Dylan Wagella.
Good evening. Hi, everybody. Hi, Council. Garden City resident. First, I want to shout out actually my wife. I doubt she's watching this, but she just passed her licensure exam to be a licensure master social worker, and I am very proud of her.
Good.
I also want to thank the residents for their support in the August 6th election. Carried 88% of the vote in the city and won every precinct in the district except one, which we lost by 3 votes. So we got some work to do there. But it's an honor to do this job, and I take it seriously. And I've been working over the last couple of years to make sure that I am not ignoring any part of the district and that I'm connecting with residents at the grassroots level. Proud to say I've knocked 15,000 doors in 3 years and knocked every street in the district. And that took me a very long time to do, but I think that's what this job's about, is it's understanding what your community wants and why, and then them understanding what you stand for. That being said, I haven't been to council in a while, I want to acknowledge that. Working to come at least once a quarter, trying to make sure I go to each city once a quarter. That's 12 meetings a year, 1 a month. Trying to do the best that I can. I think last time I was here was sometime in May, but I'm here now and I plan to come back and give updates. We've been doing coffee hours, but in Lansing, we have this rule where there's media blackouts close to election dates. So if you haven't heard, text communication, which is our normal procedure, the last couple months was because the election we're in election year. That being said, we are at the Radcliffe Center every second Thursday of the month from 5:30 to 6:30. I'll be there Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30, 9/12 is the date. I also have a rotating coffee hour every other month. We do 2, that making sure I go to the other cities as well. So if you can't make that one, I'll also be at the Romulus Public Library from 11 to 12, Saturday, 9/21. Right now, things in Lansing are slow. If you've been following politics, every election year, no matter which party is in control, things essentially shut down this time of year. So we're in our districts, we're working on legislation, and that great battle for power, I suppose, if we're just being honest about it. So legislation that my office has been working on, and I've been talking about some of it here just to give you some quick updates. I've been working with a coalition of 10 grassroots organizations to introduce Taking Back Our Power bills. Those are the 2 bills I introduced that would ban the utilities, consumers, and DTE from donating in secret to 501c4s and 527s. Just want to report that the groups I'm working with did some polling on this, and 81% approval rating from citizens in the state of Michigan. Massive support for these bills from both Democrats and Republicans, but we know that these institutions of power, which are funded by the institutions, that we would be taking away some of their power. This is going to be a long hill battle, but the point I'm making is the people support these bills, at least according to polling data, and we're trying to center our work. We plan to do a town hall sometime this fall, working with the coalition to get that together. We're also working on another bill, and we're going to introduce it, I think, at the end of this month. It's called Reasonable Seating Requirements. I don't know if I've talked about this here, but I know I've talked about it at some other council meetings. Essentially, if you've ever been to the grocery store, there's only one grocery store where you go and the cashiers seem like they're really enjoying their job, or at least get to sit while they're working. If you've ever been to Aldi's, you might notice that the cashiers get to sit down. What this would do is essentially require employers to provide reasonable seating accommodations for when workers can still do their job and sit down. As somebody who lives with a chronic illness, and I don't know how many people know this about me, but about 3-4 years ago now, I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I have it very mild, and I'm pretty active, so I don't have a hard time standing in one place. But a lot of people with similar conditions to mine or others sometimes need to take a seat while they do their job. And if there are ways for workers to be able to do that reasonably, I think that we have a responsibility as a state to protect those workers with disabilities and other ailments. So we're going to be introducing that. Several states have implemented that law as well already. And I promised the mayor I'd be short, but one more thing that was really big. I have Romulus in the district. So the district's all of Garden City, all of Inkster, Northeast Romulus, Southeast Westland. And a landfill very near to Romulus and near to here has been accepting Manhattan Project, which is the project that created the atomic bombs that were dropped in World War II. They're going to be accepting waste from New York, one of the sites where this waste was stored. So I attended Debbie Dingell's town hall, and I don't think that there's really, if I'm being honest, which I try to be, I don't know if there's a way to stop this waste from coming here at the moment. The Army Corps of Engineers did explain their process, and so did the EPA and Eagle, who were there. That being said, I will shine some light onto why this waste keeps coming to Michigan. One, we have some of the lowest waste tipping fees in the country to store garbage in this state. I think it's like 36 cents a ton. You go to Wisconsin, it's $13. We actually import a ton of waste from Canada as well. It makes absolutely no sense to me to bring toxic waste to the state that has some of the world's largest collection of freshwater resources in the world. That being said, I'm supporting 2 pieces of legislation that my colleague who has the landfill in their district is going to be introducing, Reggie Miller. And I'm not talking about the basketball player. No, I think it's a funny joke with her name. But anyway, she's introducing a bill to raise tipping fees, and she's also introducing a bill to ban radioactive waste from being brought to the state of Michigan. The problem with the second bill might be that the Supreme Court could rule that is unconstitutional. It doesn't mean we shouldn't introduce these bills to make a point, but I want to, be realistic, because right now nuclear waste, believe it or not, is considered a commodity in the United States, which is mind-boggling when you really think about what that means. That being said, I'm going to continue what I can do to push back on this waste coming to Michigan. I was not notified, just as well as my colleagues were not notified that it was coming here until I saw it in the news. But I'm going to keep pushing the way that I can, and I hope that we can take some control in Lansing and prevent this waste from coming here, because the reality is it is cheaper to send it here than anywhere else in the country. And that's why it keeps coming here. It's because corporations make that decision along with the government saying, hey, this is a viable site to send it to, but also this is the most cost-effective one for you. Lastly, I'll end with this. 2 ways to get in contact with my office. We're constantly helping people get their Medicaid back or their unemployment back if they have any issues with the state. You can reach out to the office at Dylan Wagella at house.mi.gov, or you can give us a call at 517-373-3818. And if you want to learn more about what I learned at the town hall, please come on Thursday, and I'll give a more in-depth update and see what else, because I'll be attending a press conference in Lansing on Wednesday about this as well, and I'll have more information. But I just want to make sure people come out and see how, one, my office is trying to fight back, but what did I learn and how can I bring it back to the community so people at least know what's going on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the update. Question, anybody have a question?
Two things. One, when it comes to the garbage coming from Canada, that's medical waste that they're bringing in. And we tried all the way back to when Granholm was governor to get the government to stop it, and they refused to because there's a lot of money coming into Michigan. But somebody needs to stop that. It's ridiculous that we're the dumping ground for Canada. And the second one was, I'm glad you're here tonight, because not too long ago I got a call from a business owner, and he was losing his mind. And I don't know anything about this. Maybe you can explain it so I can explain it to him. Earned Sick Time Act. I have no idea. Apparently this is going into effect next year. And the governor just signed it. I don't know. I didn't know how to answer him.
Yeah, so the governor hasn't signed anything. So in 2018, One Fair Wage ran a minimum wage increase with paid sick leave as well. Collected signatures, got enough signatures to put it on the ballot. And at the time, and the Republican controlled, this is a little bit wonky, so maybe we can connect offline as well, but at the time, the Republican controlled legislator did a procedure called adopt and amend. So instead of putting that forth to the voters, what they decided to do is amend the minimum wage law and adopt it into law. About a month ago, the Supreme Court ruled that that act was unconstitutional, and instead, this bill, these signatures that were gathered for this piece of legislation, this proposed ballot initiative, is going to go into effect in February. So to look at the details of that law, I would just suggest anyone look up, the One Fair Wage of 2018 ballot initiative. But essentially, it's going to get rid of the tipped minimum wage in Michigan, institute a minimum wage that increases over time up to, I believe, $15 an hour, and then provide paid sick and sick leave benefits for employees. All of the details wonky, and I would want to refresh them before speaking on them in further detail. It's something we're looking at. We'll see if there's anything the legislature decides to do, or if it's even constitutional for us to do based on the Supreme Court ruling. The position I have is I personally supported that initiative at the time, but would love to hear what residents and business owners in the community think. So would love to get connected with the person you were talking about.
If you could just look into it and figure out, the concern was somebody can just not show up to work and can't be disciplined for it 3 days in a row, and that was the big concern. Not only like his employees were yelling at him, he called me because they don't want to be stuck at work when someone just doesn't want to come to work. So if you could look into that and then get back to me.
Yes, yeah, will do.
Mayor,
Councilmember Karafotis.
regarding the waste coming here, who decided that it comes here? Everyone's saying the Army, but is it owned by a corporation and they're coming here because it's cheaper?
Yeah, so my understanding from the meeting was that there were 5 viable sites that could take this waste, and the site in Michigan was the only site that was east of the Mississippi River, so it was the closest location, which I think factored into it, but it's also cost effective for corporations too as well. So I believe that I'm not 100% clear on how the decision's made totally. I know the EPA has a say, Eagle has to approve it, and then also I believe the corporation has some say in it as well.
No, what I'm asking is why is it moving from where it is? Did the corporation just say, I want to save money?
I think the EPA had determined that this would be safer for the area. Like right now, it's an unsecured kind of location and it's kind of spread apart and dispersed. Bringing it to the landfill and treating the waste runoff and so forth. They have this whole process that is a little above my head at the moment, but I'm trying to learn about it. You know, I was a high school history teacher, but and not a radioactive waste expert. But this job, you have to learn about everything. That being said, according to the EPA, this is a safer way to handle the waste at the moment.
And it's coming to a privately owned site?
Correct, which is really frustrating in my eyes, is that it's coming to a privately owned landfill in Michigan.
And the Army is transporting it?
The Army Corps of Engineers is responsible for the transportation.
Okay. Do we know a date when that's going to happen?
I do not recall them saying a date at the moment, but I will look back into that.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Quick question.
Councilmember Dole.
It's a privately owned.
Yep, so we have full power in Lansing to raise tipping fees here in Michigan that would stop a lot of this waste from coming here. I'm in full support of doing that. I think one of the issues is these same landfills and organizations are pretty heavy donors to both parties in Lansing. I truly believe you always follow the money back to the source of, and the root of a lot of these problems, and that's how power is corrupted. Myself, as I think everyone here is well aware, I've committed not to taking corporate money since day one and still haven't, so that's not something that's concerned to me. I think we should raise it tomorrow and end this problem moving forward. I know they tried it years ago, and I think this is an incredibly popular thing here because nobody wants Michigan to be the dumping ground for the nation that lives in Michigan.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Regella.
So much.
Okay, we have no presentations tonight. Community event, community shred day. Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So we are less than a week away from our Community Shred Day. So that's happening this Saturday here at City Hall from 10 till 1. We'll accept up to 5 paper bags or cardboard banker's boxes of sensitive documents to shred. You just have to be in line by 12:45, but you'll enter off of Central. We'll take care of your documents. If you want to watch your documents be shredded, we can do that too. You can just pull off to the side, watch them load it up. They'll shred it for you. In addition to Shred Day, we do have our prescription drug take-back event going on. We ask that, no liquids or needles, but any expired medications, pills like that, bring them on. Our police department will dispose of them. We are also accepting donations for the Our Home Pantry, of donations of non-perishable food, toiletries, and cash donations. And new this year, and I was just informed of this in the last couple weeks, the police department will be doing the Cram the Cruiser event for school supplies. So I know school's been back in session for a couple weeks, but they need supplies year-round. So if you have school supplies for donations, bring those on in. We'll have a police unit out there, and we will hopefully get it stuff filled with school supplies. I do have flyers for the event. If anyone would like to take one, they're up here. I hope I brought enough for everybody, but if not, I can make more copies.
Thank you. To add to that, I've been in contact with the Secretary of State's office, and I was told as of about an hour ago that they will have a mobile office here, but watch online. We'll, when I get absolute confirmation, probably tomorrow, we'll have it posted that whether they'll be here or not. But as of an hour ago, they were going to be here with the mobile unit again. So, thank you. Okay, we have no petitions or communications, no public hearings. Item 11 is the consent agenda.
Mayor?
You guys not get my slip, community event?
Other community events.
Okay.
I didn't know if it was community event or public comment, so it's all in one pile.
Okay. Miss Jackie Peridor with the 10th anniversary event. I didn't get to
Hello,
that.
Mayor and Council. First, I want to thank everybody that participated in Music in the Park. It was a huge success this year. So if you just came to watch, if you were a vendor, if you were a sponsor, thank you. It was awesome this year. Now we're going to move to the next one. We are 10 years old this year, Garden City Business Alliance. So we're going to have a little celebration over at Radcliffe. It's on October 16th from 6 to 8. There'll be a door prize, there'll be giveaways, there'll be vendors, cake, Got to have cake if it's an anniversary. So I hope to see everybody, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll move, anyone else? Did I miss anything else, Mr. Smith?
No, I believe this is public. Is this public comment or community event?
Come on up, Miss Kim Marquette from the, you are going from Straight Farmhouse.
Yes, I'm
never know
representing the
which hat you-
farmhouse tonight. Hello, everybody, and it's great to be here. We have some really great events coming up at the farmhouse, and I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of them. This Saturday, we are having a USO Cantina event. We have George, who is a Garden City resident and a World War II veteran, coming out. We're going to honor the World War II vets, and we have 3 real living Rosies that are going to be attending with us as well. So we are really excited about it. We have an 18-piece band that will be there, the big band, music of the 30s and 40s. We have coming some cars and a few military vehicles and swing dancers, and of course a pinup contest as well. So something for everybody, and it's $10. We still have some tickets available. So if you don't have your ticket yet, make sure you go online to thestraightfarmhouse.org and get your tickets, or see me, or call me. My phone number's all over the place. You're more than welcome to do that, and I'll get you some tickets. It sounds like it's going to be a great event, and we're really looking forward to it. I think we're a little over 100 some people coming right now, so you want to be there. You don't want to miss it. Then the next event we have is our road rally. In the spring, we put on a road rally, and we had over 100 participants in it. And that is September, and you can go online to get more information on that as well. The next event after that is October 12th, second Saturday of the month. We are having a first for us, and we're having a food truck event. So we'll have food truck there, we'll have beer and wine sales, we have music, and I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. I heard there's going to be a very unusual petting zoo. So we'll leave that kind of as a mystery. And the last one is our 4th annual Witches Tea, and tickets are half sold out on that one. So if you'd like to come out, learn a little bit about potions and witchcraft, we will be hosting that as well. And then we have all these wonderful arting things. So if you haven't checked out our website, please do. If you're not one of our 7,000 some followers on Facebook, I would ask you to do that. And then our big thing this year we'll be pushing is memberships. We'd like everybody to be a member. So we want to start with the council, and we want to put a challenge out to you, if you are not a member, that you would please become a member and support your Garden City Historical Museum. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Sounds like a busy time of year for you.
Yes.
Thank you. Anybody else, Mr. Smith?
Nothing else.
Okay, item 11 is the consent agenda.
Mayor,
Councilmember Witt.
I'd like to make a motion to approve consent agenda items A 1 through 5, including subsection A, Roman numeral 1 through 7 as presented.
Support.
Or from Councilmember Squires. Comments from the table?
Mayor, I would like
Councilmember
to
Dole.
ask that item 11A, 5A, Roman numeral 1 through 7, be moved to the action items.
Okay. Is there support for that? Or
Support.
support from Councilmember Karafotis?
It's amending a motion.
The maker would need to amend the motion.
Yeah.
to-
I am fine with amending my motion.
Okay, so we have a motion by member. Okay, further comments from the table?
I'm just curious as to why we usually don't do that, so I'm just curious.
We've had a few residents ask about this particular commission. So it was just a matter of being able to answer questions, that's all.
Okay, any other comments from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes 7-0. Okay, action items. Item 1 is the Imagination Station and Front Office. Ms. Smith, Parks and Rec Director Erica Smith.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. In your packet, you've got a combined quote for 2 projects at Radcliffe that we're hoping to move forward on. We are in the last stages of the environmental review, which you've heard me talk about a little bit. We are anticipating being able to return to construction work at the end of this month. We are currently just in we're waiting for a public comment period to wrap up. So on the agenda tonight, I'm proposing all phases as a sole source option for these 2 projects due to the history and unique insight they have on this project. I did also want to take a moment to mention the Teaching Kitchen because I know you guys have asked me about that. I want to assure you that that project remains in the budget. It's slated for the grant funding. There are just a series of considerations that I'm working on with our team. For example, some of the equipment pricing that came back was more than we were expecting, so we're reviewing that. There's some ventilation details we're trying to confirm. There's county health review. There's some design aspects that are very unique to a kitchen. We're evaluating what our goals are, what we're trying to accomplish with it. So we are just taking time to review some of those. We want to do it correctly. So I wanted to mention that, whereas the Imagination Station is halfway there, it has been started. We have a more clear vision without some of the obstacles that I just mentioned. The front desk is an operational priority. We want to get the staff out of the hallway. We want to get the monitors working. And we're also looking at bringing the concession stand forward and just combining some of our operations. So that is important for us. That's why we're presenting these 2 projects in a bundle, again, trying to move forward with them at this time.
Okay. Motion is in order, and then we can have discussion.
Mayor?
Councilmember Lynch.
I move to approve all phases as the contractor to complete the work in the Imagination Station and front office renovation at Radcliffe for a total cost of $276,300 with a 50% materials down payment in the amount of $138,150 contingent upon completion of the environmental review.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Squires. Comments from the table?
Mayor?
Yes.
Mrs.
Councilwoman
Smith.
Doe.
I have just a quick question. So when you mentioned the venting for the kitchen,
Yeah.
does it make sense to do that part of this project while they're doing the roof, or is that not going to impact it at all?
Well, those are all great questions. I mean, part of it for me is we're just trying to take one thing at a time and prioritizing. So the environmental review, the roof, even the HVAC that's still in process, all of those things are time consuming. So we have a meeting this week on the Teaching Kitchen trying to identify the next steps. Okay. So I don't really have an answer for you. You would think, I mean, that is something I would like to understand better before we get to the roof. So.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor?
Councilmember Carefotis.
Just a similar question. I have a business where I rent, and a building has a flat roof, and I know anytime something is added to that roof that wasn't done originally, whether it's a vent for air conditioning or whatever, there's always problems. So I have the same thought as if we're going to do the roof, we have all these vents going in, even if we can't complete the rest of the kitchen, getting those vents in place so the roof can be done properly at that time makes a lot of sense to me. I don't understand why we wouldn't do that. I know that we can't afford to do the HVAC because we all said the same thing about the HVAC. Why aren't we doing that now instead of moving? But when it comes to venting, I mean, it's very difficult to put vents in a roof.
I would just like to say we want to make sure we're doing the right venting. What I really don't want to do is go in, do cuts, make venting, and then we find out, oh, that's not the right thing for what we bought or for maintaining, if we're doing commercial kitchen or if we're just doing, so there's a lot of considerations. And you're right, they're all coming at the same time, and I can just tell you that I'm doing my best to take each thing as it comes and trying to be proactive to get answers, because so many of these things, we don't have expertise in-house. I really have not done a commercial kitchen like this. So there's a lot of learning for our team, and I'm very conscious of doing it the right way, because what I don't want is to have an end product that we can't program, that is not cost effective or was wasteful in any way. So I'm just trying to take all those things in, and I hear what you're saying on that front, and I definitely understand that, and that's why we're trying to get answers and trying to find out the people who can give us those answers.
We are very glad that you're here and that you're being so diligent on all the things that you're doing to make sure it gets done right. But I just wanted to add that as something that we should consider doing roof work when the roof is getting done. And then I had one more question about what we're approving. We already approved that the Imagination Station should be finished. We're just approving the cost.
Right.
Okay.
And are we waiting till the environmental review is done before we start back up? And
Yep, we cannot begin construction. We have some ability to do some planning. There may be some activities that aren't considered renovation. So as you know, we've got other timelines and deadlines that we're managing at the same time. So this is our way of getting approval for it and starting some preparation. I mean, we are watching the clock and trying to move forward.
so we should have everything ordered, ready to go as soon as this environmental.
Exactly.
And you don't have a set date on that?
I do. On Friday, we'll conclude the public comment period. There'll be some paper signing. There's a lot of language that's, let's see, it'll be an RROF, okay, I don't have that out, publication on September 13th, and then we have 15 days where that has to be posted by HUD. At the conclusion of that, which will be September 29th, that should be our clear day.
Okay.
Mayor, I have one more question. I'm sorry, go ahead, June.
I was just going to say, so in the process of waiting to be able to do the actual work, you're ordering the carpeting and the Legos and all the things that go on the inside so that when you can do the work, it's going to be there for all phases to take it and run with it, right?
I cannot admit to having ordered the Legos. We will start doing that. There are some internal finance things I'm trying to figure out as well, just our coding and how we're recording. So we've started with the bigger ticket items just to meet the county's kind of requirements. But we have a long list of things that we can act on to begin, ordering the smaller things and just working towards the completion of the rooms that, you have seen.
Okay.
Mayor,
Councilmember Karafotis.
and this is adding to our total that we need to have 70% done by October?
Yeah, we are working on that every day. We've got about 7 weeks to get to the remaining amount, and we are hopeful by showing the action on the roof and getting an end date and a target there that we're going to be clear with that. We've got a couple other items you may see coming up, but that is certainly what we're focused on.
How's it going with the roof?
I have heard today that next week the materials will be arriving and they will be commencing. There's a lot of, as always, there's a lot more than what we thought. I know our DPW team's got some things that they're going to be helping with. There's some electrical things, so there's a lot involved, but the team is ready to go, and they are, preparing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Further comments from the table? From the public? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next is to call for a public hearing on the 2024 Neighborhood Stabilization Program. And this is, again, just to call for a public hearing for Monday, October 14th. And it is for a foreclosed house, we have to have this in place for us to move forward with it. So motion is in order.
Mayor,
Councilmember Dold.
I move to introduce the tax foreclosure property conveyance ordinance and call a public hearing for Monday, October 14th, 2024 at 7 p.m. for the sale of 622 Deering to HP Snap LLC.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Witt. Further discussion from the table? From the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Okay, boards and commissions that we move to action item, Board of Ethics. Councilmember Earl, sir.
To approve the board and commissions, Board of Ethics as presented in action, or in the consent agenda, or 5A, that was moved down to action items.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Witt. Further discussion from the table.
Mayor,
Councilmember Dalton.
I just asked that this be moved into action items so that we could have some discussion. There were some residents that did approach me on this and ask. Basically, they were asking, did all of these people come forward and apply, or was there any recruitment done for this committee?
They all applied. Some asked me about it, and I asked if they wanted to do it, just like when Miss Anthony asked about getting on boards and appointments. They come, either talk to me or they put in a form, submit a form.
Okay, and the background checks were all done and completed?
Yes. Further discussion?
This just simple question. I too had other residents ask, like, this is different than any other board. So, I mean, normally we don't have a background check if you're going to be on the planning commission or something like that, correct? And same thing with social media policy. That's about the only difference, correct? Is the background check?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I don't know of any other different. They have a couple different rules, and
I know the rules.
I know at the startup it's going to be a little different, and they'll have to go through a little learning phase of what they're covering and what they're expected.
Just like any other board,
right.
Okay. Okay. I just had other residents ask about it.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
I do have one question. So as a commission, they'll have access to the city attorney?
If that's part of the ordinances enacted, and if not, ultimately the city attorney is an employee of council, so the ability and access to that is probably regulated by council.
The city attorney said that he cannot act on this, that they would have to appoint somebody if and when it's needed.
Correct.
So therefore, then, council and the city attorney must have come to an agreement that that's not the case, that they don't have access. So what we would then have to do is find a party that they could, reference and probably use for investigations and looking at any fact-finding or legal findings that they, may need. So.
Mayor, I do remember the same thing the attorney said, because he represents us, that he could not.
Okay.
So maybe we should
Further
have an
discussion?
attorney on the board.
From the public.
I do have a question, but I don't know if this goes under this or, actually, I'll wait till comments, because it doesn't have anything to do with the appointment of the people. Sorry.
Okay. Any comments from the public?
My name is Lisa Poma. I live on Belton Street. I recently learned that there were a few people that wanted to serve on the Ethics Committee. I have always thought that in order to be on an... Yeah, baby, yeah. See?
There you go. I wanna
That's
make sure
right.
you got
I'm
the whole
Italian.
time, so.
Oh, shit. Okay.
There you go.
I have recently learned that there were a few people that wanted to serve on the Ethics Committee. I have always thought that in order to be on an Ethics Committee, one must have morals. Guess I was wrong. I know they were given a background check, but how about a social media check? Because some of these people have no morals when it comes to the way they treat residents on social media with their verbal attacks, not to mention always sounding so negative about our library. I am convinced that they will not be able to make unbiased decisions, especially when you see one person who serves as an administrator on their page and says it's my way or no way. So I think we have to be careful who you guys are putting on this committee, because some of these people, they're rude on social media. In fact, I blocked a couple of them because they were attacking me. And then when I heard that they got on this board, how? I mean, you have to have morals. And I think some of them lack morals.
Thank you. Further comments?
Opal Loveland, Barton Street. I think everybody agrees this is a pretty significant assignment. Ethical behavior is characterized by honesty, fairness, equity in interpersonal, professional, and academic relationships, and in research and scholarly activities. Ethical behavior respects the dignity diversity, and rights of individuals and groups of people. There are names on this list that do not meet that definition. And it's not uncommon for employers to vet potential hirees all across social media. You hear about it all the time. I don't think you should be voting on this tonight unless each of you have vetted these people across social media. It would be a disgrace for your committee to be made up of all these people. There are at least 3 names that don't deserve this assignment.
Thank you. Further comments? Mr. Jones.
Mike Jones, Donnelly Street in Garden City. Just like to make a couple of announcements relative to the Garden City Lions Club.
Hold on. This is about the Ethics Board. We moved from the consent. Oh, no problem. Any other comments on the Ethics Board? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion passes 5-2. Other business, we have none. Public comments. Mr. Jones.
Yeah, a couple announcements about the Garden City Lions Club. We will be meeting on the 3rd Tuesday at the Radcliffe Center every month from 6:30 to 8. And at the Lucky Squirrel, we will have a Project Kids site van there to do vision screening for kids. So and encourage everybody to take a stop at our trailer and get the kids vision screened.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comments?
Mine, I guess, is kind of a little bit more of a curiosity question. I know I don't remember who made the statement about it, but for the trash pickup, somebody was saying, please make sure that you let DPW know every single day that your trash is late, that you're being picked up, because we, as a city council, can then use that to get money refunded from the trash pickup company. I'm just curious what then happens with that money. Is that money then used to like offset future like future payments for the rest of all the citizens in Garden City, or like what exactly happens with that money is just what I'm curious about, because it seems like while it's not as bad as it was when they first took over, they have kind of slipped back again to it taking several days for a lot of people. So if we all do start really being on the ball, every single person, and saying, hey, I didn't have it picked up on my trash day, I didn't have it picked up on the 2nd, I didn't have it picked up on the 3rd, it took until the 4th, what happens when we get that refunded money? So kind of more a curiosity question. Thank you.
Usually we don't answer questions, but this is a hot topic right now.
Oh, I know, but I mean, I know people will often answer, like, I know Lynch is pretty good about being like, hey.
Basically, they have a 90-day grace period because it's a brand-new contract, and that's built in. There's some other communities that have, every contract's a little bit different. Some are just rolling over into this, and they are getting charged by that community for whatever rate they charge. Our penalties will start after 90 days, and that money would, I assume, go back into our general fund, which would then just, it's a penalty to the company. If they make $100,000 a month, and I don't know what they make.
Right, yeah.
If they make $100,000 and they're getting fined $10,000, that's a pretty significant hit, which I think would probably get their attention and probably get them going. I know my garbage is sitting out there from Friday, so none of us are immune to it. So they have gotten better some days, and then some days they're not better. So we're still working with them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Opal Lovelanigan, Barton Street. A couple of meetings ago, I brought up that our total taxable value for the city is $753 million, and I can't make sense of that number, so I'm hoping that that's the core of your budget, so nobody's reached out to me about that, so if somebody could possibly verify that number and make sure that's the right number, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Further comments?
I just wanted to congratulate our new city manager, Mr. Tim Gibbons. I'm excited to work with you. I'm sure we'll have some conversations over the next couple of weeks and months about what we'll be targeting for next year's budget. So anyway, just really excited. I look forward to it. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Further comments? Okay, city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just starting off, I'm on working day of 5.
Anything done yet?
I'm working on it, catching myself up to speed. But here's some conclusions I've come to. I've met with all our department heads. I've met with, in one form or another, all our council members. And what I'm convinced of is we have, some amazingly talented department heads and amazingly, as I've always known, talented employees who are very dedicated to this community. There's always 10 different ways to do anything. But what I feel very confident in, and is what's always been important to me, is no matter what way we're choosing to do it, whether there's the best, good, better, best, our employees care about doing it right by our citizens and our department heads and our council members. We'll all have disagreements at times, but people's hearts are in the right place. And just a good reminder all the time to remind ourselves that we're all working towards the same goal. It's Team Garden City all the time. No matter how we may disagree about how we get there, what I want to remember is what we're really looking to do is provide residents a fantastic place to live, high quality of life, at a good value for your tax dollar. 5 days in, I'm convinced that that's definitely where everybody's working towards, and it's just my job to put the pieces together and make sure we can be as effective as we possibly can. Just as another note, I noticed that sometimes residents have excellent questions or questions that require some research and follow-up. It's myself and the clerk have talked about, one, respecting the 3 minutes you get to comment, and that if we attempt to answer that during that 3 minutes, or if we attempt to answer off the cuff, we might not be giving that accurate answer. And if a goal of ours is transparency and accuracy and accountability, what we should be doing is taking the time to answer those questions right. So it's a mission of myself and the clerk that when those questions are getting answered during questions getting asked during comment time, that we don't try and rush to an answer, but we actually make sure we're accountable for that question, just as if you would have filled out a GC Fix-It form. If you took the time to get off your couch and come up here and speak in public, that's even better than an email. We appreciate the effort and the concern. So we're going to make sure we do a good job of reaching out to you during the 2 weeks in between the next council meeting, getting you an answer. And some things might take a little longer if you need a longer explanation, or it's something we can't quite answer with definitive, but at least want to make sure contact with you and give you an explanation as best we possibly can as city employees, so you feel like you're connected and you got your question answered. So that's a big goal of ours, but also to not give an answer just because it's convenient right now if it's not going to be a perfectly accurate one. Even though we may, sometimes I think I know something, but when you go to look at it, especially when it comes to like a collective bargaining agreement, I remember when I was in the union, I'd read it, and I feel like a good grasp of it, but if someone asked me off the cuff, I'd have to read it again just to get the language right. So I always took the time to go back and read it before I gave an answer. It doesn't mean I don't know the answer. It doesn't mean our department heads don't. It just means they respect your question enough to make sure they're right when they speak for you, and to not cause confusion. So that's a goal of ours, and we're going to attempt to make sure we adhere to it. And also, in the terms of trash pickup, as the mayor stated, we're going to make sure that our priority waste is held accountable for missing those pickups as soon as we can hold them accountable for them. Hopefully that problem is resolved in the very, very near future, but if not, we'll hold them accountable. And we do really need residents, especially when the grace period is over, to report to us. We will probably have a good idea of what isn't getting picked up, but every address that misses it, we'd like to know. We don't want anyone not being, that business not being held accountable for anyone they missed. They've got to live up to their end of the bargain, and it's our job to make sure, but we need to know what the citizens are experiencing. So,
When is that grace period over?
it's October 1st, we believe, right?
Pretty close, September 30th, October
September
1st.
30th. That depends how you want to say it, but what our plan is through Communications Department to get out there to make sure we're encouraging people, hey, even more so, of course, report it now. If your garbage doesn't get picked up, we got to get it picked up. But even more so when that grace period starts, because we want to make sure we get good performance in our contract. And I believe that's all I had. I'm just entirely excited to be here. I truly enjoy this city and the job that I get to do. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Smith.
Yep. So a couple things. One, community event cards notwithstanding. Been speaking with the city manager. One of the things that we said that we'd like to do to make sure we're following up with questions from residents at council meetings is we're really going to stress when you come up and speak, just fill out one of the cards, the little comment cards, and get it to me. Because if you see me, like, I'm writing constantly up here, and I'm writing down questions, and what we hope to do is we'll write your question down on that card so we know exactly what the question was, what we're researching, and get it to the correct department head. So over the next couple weeks before the next meeting, we can look for that answer and get you an informed answer on that. So even if it's just a quick little thing, just if you could just fill out the card, get it to me, I'll make the notes on it onto what the questions are, and we'll get it to where it needs to go. The other thing, I was asked to remind everyone, as election, we are less than 2 months away. If you're not registered to vote, register to vote. A lot of people are automatically registered through Secretary of State with their license now, so we'll have people come in and be like, I'd like to register to vote. We look them up, it's like, oh no, you did your license, so you're registered. But the note I wanted people to be aware of is if you are not 18 yet, but you are going to be 18 by election day, in the state of Michigan, you can pre-register if you are 17 and a half. So 17 years, 6 months, you can register now, and your registration won't become active until your birthday, but that way, if it's fresh in your mind now, come do it now, so then you'll be all set for when you turn 18, you'll be registered to vote. I want to compile that with one other thing, because we've been getting a lot of calls and questions. It's important to remember as we get closer to Election Day, you are going to get a lot of mailers and pieces and things, and people are contacting our office and they say, why are you sending me a voter registration? I've been registered for years. If it doesn't say City of Garden City, City Clerk, it's not from us. A lot of third parties are going to be sending out mailers, things like that. So you may already be registered. The thing that I want to stress is when in doubt, come, call, email, come in person to the clerk's office. We are your go-to source on your voter registration or your absentee ballot. Do we have your application? Are you on the permanent ballot list? Because you're going to get a lot of mail. It gets confusing. We get inundated with voter registration. People fill it out, send it in, and I'd say if we get a dozen, 10 of them are already registered. They've lived in the city for 25 years. They voted in every election for the last 20 years, but they get it. They assume, oh, I need to do this or else my registration is going to be canceled. So when in doubt, ask us, trust us. We'll be your go-to source. We can help you out.
When do the absentee ballots go out?
So absentee ballots is October 26th is mailing day. I try to be an overachiever, so I hope September. Thank you. September 26th is the day that we have to mail them out. I try to overachieve and get them out a couple days early. We've just got our proofs last week, so the printing process has started. We'll get them. We got a dedicated staff that's going to spend many hours stuffing and preparing and numbering and issuing. So the third week of September, September 26th, definitely maybe a couple days early.
Okay, thank you. Yep. Councilmember Dole.
I pretty much only have one thing here. I was speaking to one of our 4th grade teachers at Douglas Elementary, Miss LeMasters, and she is doing, I guess, call it a scholastic book drive almost. What she likes to do is to be able to give each child in her classroom a brand new book every month. So the books are $2. Everybody remembers Scholastic. when we were in school. They're still around. So she has, let me back up. It would cost $18 per child for her classroom. Once she hits all the children in her classroom, she goes over and she will share with Mr. Rogers over at Douglas also. So it's pretty cool. If anybody wants to donate, I put some flyers up there where she has put her PayPal and Venmo. What are these things called?
QR codes.
QR codes. A QR code on that, or you can send a check and either drop it off at Douglas Elementary and mark it attention to Miss Lemasters, or you can mail it over there also to her attention. So the kids have been back in school a week now, and don't forget, be careful around those bus stops and around the schools, and just make sure you're paying attention when you're driving. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Lynch.
Yes, first of all, welcome to the council table as our new city manager. It's nice to see you here. This weekend, St. Thomas is having their big festival. We just got off a really nice chili cook-off car show. The city departments with the touch of truck and the police and fire. It all was a beautiful day. It was a little cool, but at the same time, the sun was out and it made for a nice day. So congratulations to Mr. Miller and all of the DDA and all of the volunteers that helped to put that on Saturday. And then don't forget to check out St. Thomas this weekend. And thank you to Mr. Smith for the really nice explanation. We'll try to get as many 18-year-olds that can vote to vote, because this will be their very first presidential election. So I think that's worth voting for. So other than that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Witt.
Thank you. Welcome aboard, Mr. Gibbons. Appreciate you having me up here. Not to echo Jay Lee, but yes, all the city employees, all of the volunteers and boards that were assisting for making this weekend great. I spent most of my day up at the chili cook-off, tried a couple of the team's chilies. Everyone did a great job, but I appreciate all of the residents coming out and everyone hanging out for the day. But that's all that I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Squires.
Hey, just a couple of things. I too want to welcome our new city manager and look forward to working with you. And thank you to Erica Smith for her diligence in trying to do things right, get things done, and making sure they're being done the right way. Thank you for that. And the chili cook-off was fantastic. My grandkids and great-grandkids came out, some of them, and had a wonderful time. And thank you to all the volunteers. I know it wasn't easy getting a lot of volunteers, but thank you, Mr. Miller. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Karafotis.
I just have a couple quick things. One, I just wanted to clarify. I think that Lauren's question was not about the garbage. The question was that if we end up finding them and we get back $200,000, does our bill go down because we're paying less money? That was the question. So if that's something our city manager can find out and let us know the next meeting, that would be great. And then I wanted to say that we all had meetings with our new city manager, and he's very excited to improve Garden City, and I'm looking forward to working with him. He has some great ideas, so I love that. The other thing I know that people have been asking, and I know you don't know the answer now, but could we have next meeting an update on T-Lab and what's going on with their rent? And then I want to ask our clerk if he knows how many, maybe not right now, but do you know how many registered voters we have?
So registered voters, we tend to hover a little bit under 22,000.
We have 27,000 people here, and 22 of them are registered to vote?
Correct. It's about 80% of the population is voting age.
Okay. And that was it.
Yep. Thank you. Councilmember Earl.
To follow up with that question, how many actually come out and vote?
So what I can tell you, like
I know
without the numbers in front of me.
I know presidential elections usually more, but.
Yeah, presidential's more. Definitively August, the August primary, we're at 19.8%, which is actually pretty towards the higher end of voter turnout for Wayne County communities for August. Traditionally, you know, if we could get 70% for the presidential, like that would be a huge success. You know, between 65 and 70 is the highest we've seen going back decades for a presidential, which, you know, it's going to stress the importance of voting, you know, because even when we have our highest voter turnout for a presidential election, you know, almost, you know, 1/2 of the eligible voters do not vote. So vote, vote, vote. So.
Well, I hope they come out. Everybody has an opinion, but nobody wants to vote behind it. So I hope they either vote or be quiet. Yeah. First, I want to thank everybody that came out to support the theater program a couple weeks ago, I think it was. They ended up setting a record for opening night and a record for total people. Almost 1,700 people came to the show, so I greatly appreciate that. And then I had somebody ask me this, and I did not know how to answer it. So for the Board of Ethics, is there going to be something online so they know what they have, if they want to file something, what they have to do? Can we make it easy for, I didn't want to give them a wrong answer. So is there should they contact you, or should they go, is there something online, or?
Let me read over the ordinance and see what provisions are in there and see what would be potentially the best, most streamlined way to do it.
Okay.
So.
All right. And congratulations and welcome to Tim here. Excited that you're here. I know that you have some really great ideas, and I love right away you're kind of addressing we're going to get answers to everybody, and I know that you have plans to follow up with that. So I'm excited to see what you can do for the city, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, I just have a couple things. At the chili cook-off, I was approached by some people that had some questions, and I also got some screenshots that also asked some questions, and nobody really had an answer, and I'm not going to answer on social media, so I figured I'd just try to answer as many as I could right now. Number one, the city does not profit, doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the chili cook-off. That's DDA run. I think this year the city purchased the LLC, the liquor license, just because of their tax status, but then that was $50 and DDA reimbursed them. So that city, other than that, does not make a penny off of it. Someone mentioned that there's a special committee that came up with all kinds of stuff, and no, it's basically the same as it's always been with the DDA. Usually it's a DDA chairperson, along with the DDA director. This year he had an assistant, Mr. Prash. They make recommendations to the board, and it went forward from there. The board voted on that. The date got moved up this year. It was moved up earlier than what the board wanted, but due to some scheduling conflicts, that's where we went. I think looking forward for next year, it's going to be later in September, but we'll, at the next DDA meeting, I'm sure we'll be discussing that and putting in a date and getting it locked in so we have that. The DDA does not make a profit off of this event. Even if we make money on it, that's where the donations go to the charities. Every year, especially from all the invoices that I've seen for the last 4 or 5 chili cook-offs, the DDA has lost money on it, which isn't a big deal because it's a community event. We budget for it, so it's not a big deal if we lose money. It's trying to bring the city and the community and everybody together. So the DDA, even if they make money, they end up giving it, dispersing it to charities. It's been said and discussed that the charities are getting hurt this year because some money's not as much money is being dispersed. Legally, you cannot disperse money if you don't make money. You can't give away taxpayer money. just not legal. So regardless of what happened in the past, it's not right to, if you don't make money, you can't go into your taxpayer funds and give it away. The DDA this year decided that they would go with different groups as far as who ran different events, and that was done in the name of fairness to all charities. The DDA pays for the tent, the tables, the chairs, the beer trailer. They thought it would be more fair, if that's proper English, but more fair to equally disperse it to all the charities instead of making one have a bigger advantage than other ones. So that's why that was done. So hopefully that answers most of the questions. I may not have hit them all, but if you have more, email me, talk to me. Usually easy to find. Speaking of the chili cook-off, I want to thank Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson for being there. She was a celebrity judge, which was good because I didn't want to have eat 10 chilies, but she went through it and also helped me pick a car for the car show. So thank the Secretary of State. I want to thank her mobile office team. They got there a little late. They had some issues, but they came out. I know they were busy. I talked to some of their staff members. So they were glad they came out and could help the residents. In talking to them, I'm trying to get them back again for this Saturday, as I said earlier. Hopefully they will hold true to what they told me earlier. You never know, something could come up. CBS was out there. They came out and did a little piece on their news program. It was good. They mentioned all the activities that were going on, the kids, the chili. It was a good, nice little piece. To Matt Miller and John Prosh, Denise Stabley, Zach King, that were there pretty much start to end. Outstanding work. You guys put in hours beforehand getting everything set up and organized. So I want to thank you guys, all the volunteers that were out there. Some of them were out there for long periods of time, and I know it's a lot of work, and it's greatly appreciated. We had a great turnout all day. Weather, we're a little worried with the 90 degrees earlier in the week, but it cooled off just perfect for the event. I think I saw all the council there supporting, other than Councilmember Earl, who had a prior commitment, but all the other council members were there supporting it, so that was good. The bands, Bonnie and the Working Girls, Hear Me Out, The Incurables, Maybe June, outstanding event all day long, great music. I didn't hear any complaints, so that was awesome. I know a lot of the charities were greatly appreciative of all the work that went into it. Somebody asked about the banquet hall across the street, what's going on with it. I did happen to stop in about a week ago. The main owner has some serious health issues. He had to back out. His brother is now kind of taken over. When I was in there last week, he said they were really, really close. They had workers in there. They're waiting on some carpeting and some other stuff, but that's been the delay with that. I can't really blame him. The health issues he has are very serious, so that's been the delay in the banquet hall. So hopefully that answers, people that have been asking when that's going to open. That's all I have for that. Next is item 16A, to receive an attorney-client privilege, to go in closed session for a written legal opinion, to consider material exempt from discussion or disclosure by state or federal statute pursuant to MCL 15.268, H regarding a personal matter.
So moved, Witt.
I'm sorry, who supported? Councilmember Lynch? Mr. Smith, if you take roll.
Councilmember Witt?
Aye.
Councilmember Lynch? Aye. Councilmember Earl?
Aye.
Councilmember Squires?
Aye.
Councilmember Karafotis?
Aye.
Councilmember Dold?
Aye.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. We are now going into closed session.
Making it do funky stuff.
Okay, we're back in session. I need a motion to go
Mayor.
back, come back into session.
Mayor, support at 9:14 PM.
Okay, take roll call.
Councilmember Lynch?
Here.
Councilmember Witt?
Aye.
Councilmember Earl?
Aye.
Councilmember Squires?
Here.
Councilmember Karafotis?
Aye.
Councilmember Dole?
Present.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye. Okay, we are now back in session. We need a motion on our closed session.
Mayor,
Councilmember Witt.
I'd like to make a motion to instruct the city manager to follow the labor attorney's recommendation presented on August 9th, 2024.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Karafotis. Closed session, no discussion. Take roll call, please.
Councilmember Witt?
Aye.
Councilmember Karafotis?
Aye.
Councilmember Lynch?
Aye.
Councilmember Earl?
Aye.
Councilmember Squires?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Dole?
Aye.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye. All set?
Yep, motion passes
Okay.
7-0.
No further business before council. This meeting is adjourned.